Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. I just wanted to give you a bit of an update here on a couple of the projects going on before we have a look at the bat house stuff. So as you know, I've been working away at preparing for the arrival of my sawmill. So let's have a look at what I've got so far. So this is the area the sawmill is going to go in, and it's not very level, which is pretty common for everything around here. So I have created this gravel bed, and I'm going to be putting my drying tent in here. As once your wood comes off the sawmill, it has to sit and dry for a little while, but I don't want it directly out in the open, so I have to protect it a little bit from the weather. So what I have got is the remains of one of these temporary garages that I have put together, and it is going to go on top of this gravel pad. And I'm just going to get a tarpaulin that will fit over the top and cover the back, but it's going to leave the ends and most of the front open. That's going to allow for a reasonable amount of protection and also give me really good airflow through to help dry the wood. So this over here is the frame that the sawmill is going to basically sit on or sit in. It's going to go in where these orange marks are. That frame is going to get filled with gravel, and then the support pieces for the sawmill rails will sit inside that frame. So the job of the frame is to hold the gravel in place. And over here are the rails that the sawmill rails will get attached to. And this big beast here is the block that's going to get cut up into 3 pieces, and it's going to sit on the gravel inside that frame. So we are making progress, but I'm still at least a month away from the sawmill showing up, according to Woodland Mills. I'm not really expecting it until September. And right now, we're still early in July, so I've got a ways to go. Now, I think I may have mentioned my vegetable garden to you once before. Let's have a quick peek at that. So this has been my first crack at a vegetable garden for a long time. And getting water up here is an issue, so I've got this 1,000-liter tote that I pumped water into from the creek, and I'm using that to water the garden. And as you can see, it's turned out pretty nice. My tomatoes are really doing well. I got potatoes and a whole bunch of stuff. You can see the empty rows that we've already harvested. So I have replanted those, and I've got carrots coming in and some more radishes and a bunch of other stuff. So this has been quite fun to play with. The deer fence has kept it quite well protected. I've had nothing get inside of it so far, not even the chipmunks and squirrels, which is really good. So the fence comes in 7-foot high length, so I've got 6-foot high poles, and 1 foot of that fence then is laying out on the ground. And that seems to work very well for keeping out all the company. So that's it for that. So let's go down to the shop and I'll show you a couple of things in the shop. So there it is. My planer has arrived. So it is a benchtop planer. It's a DeWalt, and I have done nothing more than test it. So I've made this platform here where I can lock it down inside my handy workmate and run wood through it. So the only thing I have done so far is run this one test piece through, and I cannot believe how smooth that is. That's just absolutely beautifully smooth and very flat. So it really works a treat. Very pleased with it. The other thing that I've got is stashed away behind this pile of hardwood. Yes, that is a Delta wood lathe. This is an older lathe. It's been sitting inside a guy's sugar shack for quite a few years. So it is a little bit rusty, but really not bad. And hopefully it runs. I don't know that yet. So we've got a couple of rainy days coming up. So my plan is to get the housing off of it and get it up on my bench and have a look at it just to see if it does actually work. It looks like all the parts are here, and it's kind of a bonus to have a chuck as well, which is really nice. But the one thing that I am missing is the chisels. So the fella tells me that he may have a set of chisels that he has gone looking for, so they may turn up. And if not, I'll buy a set. Just kind of a starter set from Canadian Tire. So that's going to be very interesting to play with. I'll keep you guys up to date as to how things go with it. All right, that's it for the update for what's going on out here in the shop and up at the sawmill. So let's have a look at this bat house that I'm building. So I'm glad I took the time to insulate this shop. It's not heavy insulation by any means, but it is not too bad. You can see here that we're about 24 degrees inside the shop right now. I left the doors open and my fan running last night and then closed them this morning, and the shop is staying quite comfortable. And if you look here, wow, 40 degrees out there on this side of the shop. I'm glad I don't have to be out there. So let's look at the project that I'm working on today. So I'm continuing on, just for the fun of it, with another one of these little projects that I'm using scrap or offcuts from Art's Sawmill for. So today I have been working on a bat house. Considering the amount of bugs around here, I think I'm going to try to attract some bats out here. So what I've done is taken a pine offcut board. It's a bit warped and it's quite rough, and that's fine for what we're doing. So this board is about 12 inches across and 16 inches long. So what I've done is I've laid it out for my roof line. I've attached my sides here already, and I cut a bunch of slots in the back. Now these are very shallow. They're only about 1/16 of an inch deep, and they're 1/2 inch apart. This is to give the bats something to hang on to as they come in. And the bottom piece here is a landing spot for them. So I've pretty much finished the front wall here. So let's have a look at this. I glued this up yesterday so that it would be dry today. So this is the inside. Now I've put a little deflector here because this is 2 inches deep, which would leave you with a 2-inch opening if you simply put that on there. And that is maybe a bit big, not necessarily for bats, but it could allow predators and that type of thing to get up inside there. So what I decided to do was put this little extra board on here that I've cut at 20 degrees. So it down slopes to help deflect things away. So when it goes on, it greatly decreases the size here. So now this has gone from a 2-inch opening to maybe a little over an inch. So that should help keep some of the predators and that type of thing out. So my next step here is to fasten this board in place, and then put our roof on. Now the roof is cut at 15 degrees to give it a reasonable slope to help keep things from building up on top of it. And of course this is, as I said, offcut scrap wood. Everything is a bit warped, so I want to keep moisture from getting inside. So I am actually going to put some caulking along this joint here before gluing it down and brad nailing it. And then we'll have a bat house. And I'll probably cut a little bat symbol or something to put on the front of it here and glue it on, just to make it look a little fancier. So that's pretty simple, fun little job. So the sides are now brad nailed in place. The landing strip here for the bats, I did notch this out and glue it and brad nail it, so it's really sturdy because it just hangs out on its own. So let's finish putting this thing together. There's the body. You can see that piece on the inside. So the only thing we've got left now is the top. So I found some old gutter caulking that I'm going to try to use. So between that and a bit of glue, Alright, there we are. I'll put a screw hole through here and through here, and then I can hang it on a tree. But first I'm going to stain it, just to make it look a little nicer. So that's not bad for a quick little project made from scrap wood. Kind of fun to play with these things. So there's the bat house in place. And it's been up for a very short time, but it's already got some occupants in it, which is really great because bats do a wonderful job at taking care of mosquitoes and that type of thing. So I'm very pleased with that. And of course, there's one of the two bird houses. They are still unoccupied, and that's fine. I put them up pretty late in the season for them to get occupied. So I will probably open the doors up on them come fall, make sure they're clean and ready for the spring season. All right, so that's it for today's video. Thanks very much for watching, guys, and we'll see you out on the trails the next time.